Hey my friends, how's it going? So I wanted to reach out and touch base with you. In today's video I wanted to talk a little bit about what the difference is between sobriety and freedom and what they look like. Now I've referenced some of this before, but I wanted to go in and just make a little bit more detail and just offer a few examples of what that looks like. Because if you're watching this video, it may be because you need help getting out of porn addiction. And this is something that absolutely was something that I was stuck with. I was stuck in porn addiction for 14 years and could not find my way out. And it wasn't until I started applying a very particular process by my coach, Bob Gardner, that I began to recognize and realize freedom. So freedom versus sobriety, what's the difference? Well, as I've mentioned before, sobriety solely deals with time. That's really all it is. It's just time away from a behavior. And time is an important factor, but it's not the sole thing that we need to look at, right? Things like blocks on your computer, right? Things like, for instance, in my case, I didn't have the internet on my phone, right? All of these things kept me away from the behavior, but that's not freedom, right? Time away does not equal freedom. So what does equal freedom? Well, a couple things that I noticed rather early on as I commenced this process and this new approach towards life, this new outlook towards overcoming porn addiction, was that, well, here's a perfect example. I had a conversation with a friend the other day who asked me this exact question. Jake, what's the difference between freedom and sobriety? You constantly talk about, both of those. And so how do I know if I'm experiencing sobriety or freedom? So let's say someone is doing our program with Liberate a Man, right? And they are experiencing some changes. But let's say they choose to view. Okay, let's say they were or they were sober, right, for 30 days. And they went a whole month, when previously they couldn't hardly go a week, right? Well, in normal cases, what would happen is you would fall back into the pit. You would go, oh my gosh, I fell back into the behavior. Everything I'm doing must not be working, so therefore I'm just gonna be stuck forever. But we have to look at some key subtle differences. So I asked my friend, I was like, well, let's talk. Let's talk about triggers. How often did you experience triggers before? And he'd go, oh, like maybe every 3 days. Okay? And how deep were those triggers? How difficult were they to overcome? And he was like, well, I mean, I could maybe last 3 or 4 days, kind of white knuckling it, going through some things, but eventually I'd always go back. Okay, so you're experiencing triggers every 3 days or so, and you fight it, you white knuckle it until the 4th or 5th day, and you just end up giving in. I know exactly what that's like, and so many other people know exactly what that's like. So then we fast forward, right, to having been in the program, and I say, okay, well, how often are you experiencing triggers now? And he's like, well, the last trigger I probably experienced was like 2 weeks ago. Okay, 2 weeks ago you experienced a trigger. And how long did it take you to get through that until you viewed? And he's like, well, I was able to get out of the pool in like 30 minutes. And I didn't view at all. Oh, okay. So again, progress is key, and we have to look at and analyze what kind of progress we want to see. If we're just analyzing whether or not the behavior is occurring or not, that's not freedom. Freedom is a change. It's an inner core change of who you are, of how you think. It's adopting a whole new mindset and creating skills and opportunities to be able to eliminate those triggers. Effectively, The difference between sobriety and freedom is control. It's control. I have more control over my life. And isn't that exactly what freedom is? If you were to remove someone's freedom to do something, you would remove the control that they have to do that thing. So if we are drastically helping people remove triggers, and when they do come, give them the ability and the capacity to not just sit there and white knuckle through them, but to just have them go away. Those are real skills. Skills. Those are real opportunities that are changing the individual. And that's what we're after. If you're watching this video and you want help with pornography addiction, reach out. In fact, if you want help with any obsessive compulsive behavior, we're helping people with eating disorders, we're helping people with depression and anxiety. And again, we're not here saying that this is the best, greatest, most fantastic program out there. But if you're like me and you tried all kinds of things and never found what I just discussed, freedom, I only found sobriety. And when triggers would hit, I would have to fight through them until the pressure would just build up so much that I just couldn't do it anymore. That's not freedom. Freedom is being able to enjoy life. Freedom is being able to wake up every morning and know that the power to succeed is within you. Freedom is, yes, it's distance from behavior, but overall, it's the ability to not even have the triggers come in the first place, and if they do and when they do, because let's be honest, temptation still exists. We're still people that have sex drives and have passions and desires. So this whole idea that I never want to be tempted again or I never want to be triggered again, maybe that's not super realistic. But what if we were able to help you eliminate those triggers a lot more, and when they do come, just flow over them. Let them flow by. This is an incredible feeling to not be controlled by porn, but to be able to have your life back. That is what we're offering people. I'll put my email in the description. Please share this video. If you are struggling or if you know someone that is struggling, reach out. My email's in the description. Feel free to email me if you have any questions. And I'll also put the website there so you can jump on and schedule a call with one of our coaches. It's a free call to just simply discuss where you're at and what we can do to help you. And if we can help you, and if you're ready for help. This isn't just an automatic thing where you just, no, you got to be ready. You got to really want it, and you got to believe that change can happen. Change is possible. Reach out. Let's get you free. You guys have a great day. Wherever you're watching this from, I hope it's as beautiful there as it is here. Keep the faith.